All right, Hebs, we're back here. New week and a new number one. I would say pound for pound superstar. Actually, officially the new number one pound for pound guy is Ilia
Oh yeah.
Topuria. One of the greatest performances, in my opinion, honestly, of all time. Saturday night. I know people are going to say we're over exaggerating a bit, but I don't think so at all.
No
If you
one's saying
understand
that.
the sport and you really understand what's going on right now, we have, I think, the biggest star in the sport and a new, I would say, already a legend in the sport. So, Hebs, what's your opinions of
Dude,
what happened Saturday?
so I usually really like to have like an immediate reaction. And that usually, I guess, if it's not recorded, will just be like texting you or like, I don't know, Scotty, someone like that, whoever I'm with. I needed a couple days to digest this. And here's my take. We're going to talk for the next like fucking hour, I'm sure, saying a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I wasn't a huge fan of the UFC in like 10 years ago during Conor's run. Now, everyone, no matter what you're thinking, you could have not known what the UFC was, or you say, I train UFC, those type of people. Everyone, when I was in high school, watched the McGregor cards. I watched McGregor Aldo. That was my first card. I watched McGregor versus Diaz 2. And then when getting into college, like I started to watch a couple more fights because of some of you guys, but like I wasn't, I was watching the big fights. I remember Francis versus Stipe. I remember some big fights, and then Conor Cerrone, obviously a couple years later. Bro, I missed the first Conor run. And obviously, as I watch these videos, I always watch the press conferences. It's fun to watch, that run, although I wasn't a legit UFC fan at that time. And I always wish I was a huge fan at that time. This feels like the second coming of it. It feels like we have a true, legitimate, like not someone who exceeds the UFC in terms of their stardom. We've never seen anything like it, and it feels different than we've seen these great runs. Like the Volk run was amazing. Obviously, John's run over the last however many years, although he pissed it all away in a literal and metaphorical sense. That's how you do that. I don't even, I still, maybe I said I needed a couple days to gather my thoughts and put them into words. And clearly I'm not doing a great job. I don't know what to say, dude. The guy was minus 450. We all knew it was going to, we both said he was going to knock him out in the first or second round. And it was still so jarring, so shocking to see it go out like that. We just said right before we got on from the first exchange, from the 10 seconds in, I think I said to everyone, I was like, oh, someone's getting fucking knocked out like immediately. And then that's what happened. And then they went to the ground, and there were some other sequences, which we'll get into in a second, because I love that we saw that. Charles, obviously, a little bit overrated. His grappling as a whole, we know about his jiu-jitsu and his submissions, but he's not like, he's not taking guys down in the middle of the octagon. He's not like shooting double legs. Like, that's not his strength, but obviously a pretty decent grappler, we would say. So it was good to see that. Like if they just came out and Charles just struck with him and he got slept, we don't really learn anything about Ilia, but we at least saw Charles really try to grapple, to use his size. He got him in not a terrible position, right? He was trying to leg lock or something, and the crowd was going a little crazy. But seeing
Joe
Ilia be
Rogan
able
was
to
saying the
escape
fight
that,
was almost over.
I don't. Well, I kind of thought you can never tell with the leg locks. I'm
Yeah.
not the most credentialed BJJ guy personally, but like sometimes they look worse. You never really know. Or like even with an armbar, sometimes it looks terrible, and Rogan's like, "Oh, he's out. No, he's going to break his arm," and like the guy's not even reacting.
Literally, dude.
And then seeing him get back up. And then Charles did I lay down for a couple seconds, let me clear my mind before I get it fucking splattered all over the octagon, dude. And to quote Joe Rogan, nobody does that to Charles Oliveira. Literally nobody. We could talk about his chin. Maybe he's getting older, whatever. Dude, he got sparked, and this could have been on Saturday. It could have been 2 years ago. Prime Charles, like that punch knocks out anyone. That punch knocks out Tom Aspinall, as far as I'm concerned. And by that punch, I mean the original right hand, not the follow-up left or the two follow-ups on the ground, because he was out on you.
Lawn chair folded like a dude. That's what I like. People, he's not just like TKOing guys. He is literally Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. He flatlines him. Like he's taking these guys like completely away from consciousness. It's like ridiculous, dude. It's
Bro,
actually ridiculous. Like just the way he's doing things. Like I know people think, oh, like he's trying to be like McGregor, and I get it. I would try to be like McGregor,
not a
honestly,
bad thing to
as
do.
well.
The
It's
biggest
not a
star in
bad
the
thing
history of
to
the
do.
I've never understood. He's trying to be McGregor. It's like,
But like
okay.
people think that he's arrogant and stuff, and it really isn't him being arrogant. It's more of him. For years, this guy's trained in the gym. He's been flatlining people in the gym for years and years. He knows that he can, if he lands, people are going out cold. So he knows this. That's what gives this guy this type of confidence. And like, it's just the perfect storm right now. Like the way the guy carries himself, what he's doing, like even his bro, as far as his dude, his walkout, in my honest opinion, is like the best walkout in the sport today. Like he's literally has an Undertaker, like he's telling you you're coming to your funeral, and he's literally putting these guys out cold. Like it's ridiculous, bro. It's crazy. It's so exciting to see right now in the sport. It's
Dude,
crazy, dude.
the confidence. I feel like people, again, as a couple of high level athletes like you and I love the way like people confuse with athletes, especially fighters, because it's a one-on-one sport, right? There's no hiding in terms of like a team sport. It's just you versus another guy, especially in fight, right? It's just one-on-one combat. Like, bro, the confidence that he has, I don't even know. I compare it to prime Conor, because you watch some of those videos and I get the chills just thinking about it. It's some of you could watch a million motivational speeches. You could read David Goggins and self-help books. Bro, just go listen to Conor before he was double champ, when he just had entered the UFC. He told you, he said everything that was going to happen, and then it just happened. And it's kind of eerie to look back on, because the money and like the fame and all this stuff, and we could talk about that, what it did to him, but like that wasn't even an option for a UFC fighter. That was not possible. He could have went and been he could have been a triple champ and been undefeated. Like reaching that level of notoriety and fame was not possible for a fighter. He said it was going to happen. He literally changed a sport. He made it this multi-billion-dollar industry. And he said that was going to happen when he was like an unranked, like 11-2 featherweight. It was unbelievable. Bro, Ilia, the confidence, they're very different in the way they talk. But Ilia, he celebrates the night before. He celebrates, and he's not cocky at all. He finally he's, for the first time in fight week, again, don't get it twisted. I watch every interview this guy does, because it's fascinating. It's a lesson in confidence. It's a lesson in self-belief, especially as a fighter. Bro, he is not cocky at all. He is not cocky at all. He was not cocky going into Volk. He was not cocky going into Max. The language barrier and some stuff, sometimes words, sentences, it gets misinterpreted.
Yes, I agree.
But dude, people have tried to get him to say bad stuff about Islam Makhachev this entire time, and he won't do it until this week. He finally started saying like, oh, he's finally started a little bit of like, oh, he ran from me. But you could tell it's kind of an act, because for months now, people have said, do you think Ilia is running? Do you think Islam's running from you? And he's like, absolutely not. He's chasing greatness. He moved up. He's on his own path. Do you think so-and-so? Talk about Volk. He's like, what about the rematch with Volk? He's like, I really like Volkanovski. Like, I don't want to do that to him, essentially. And then he gets face-to-face with Charles Oliveira, a guy who's won the belt multiple times, a guy who defended his belt, a guy who ran this division, had a double-digit win streak. You know what he said, Justin?
Sorry, it has to be you.
Dude, what? Like, what are we talking about?
Dude,
what is this guy?
And even when he's literally coming out of the tunnel, at this point, when these guys are coming out of the tunnel in a huge high-stakes main event, like I literally get nervous myself for it. And they pop this guy on the fucking jumbotron, and he's smiling, and it's not like a smile that you can tell when a guy's fake smiling and he's nervous. This dude's smiling like, all right, here we go. I'm about to come in here and like mop the floor with this guy. He's literally, that's what he's doing. He's like literally smiling like he knows what the fuck is about to happen. And
dude, it's literally live footage of me getting up from the couch, walking to the fridge to grab my 17th Miller Lite of the night. Like it's the fact that he's walking, and then he gets in and he's shaking hands with everyone. He's bowing. He's nothing but respect. I don't even know what to compare it to. Again, the only thing we can compare it to is that Prime McGregor run. But honestly, it's a little bit different because Prime McGregor, we know about the trash talk. That was his whole thing, the trash talk, and he was very good at it. Ilia does it in a completely different way. I didn't want it to be you. I didn't want it. And then he did, bro. Go watch. I think I'll send it to you now. The Helwani interview from last week, where he's like, "What's going to happen?" He's like, "Oh, I'm knocking him out in the first round," very nonchalantly. And he's not saying, everyone says I'm going to knock him out in the first round. That's what everyone always says, right? But he says it in such a way where there's no trash talk.
It's just he knows, dude. He knows what he possesses, bro.
And
he knows it. Like
he goes there, he's like, because all it takes, and he's explaining it, and again, not a cocky way. He's just saying what's going to happen, and then it happens. He's like, all it takes is for me to be able to like get into range because these guys, they run from me. So that's what Volk and Max, they kind of are backing up the whole fight. Once I get within striking distance, like I just have to land. And that's what we talked about with the Volk fight and Max. Max did better than Volk in my opinion, but it's not like, again, he was fine. He was the one leading the dance. He was the one willing to go in there because he knew, they could land time and time again. I'm not going away. Once I land once, you're going unconscious. That's what happened in both those fights. And that's what happened in an even bigger way on Saturday night. I keep going back to the celebration. Something, again, allegedly, we could pick hairs here. You might be a little bit of a better athlete than me, but like, I think it's cool. Like a sport like football and like fighting, you put so much effort into it. It's not like, fucking baseball and basketball you play every day or every other day. Football is your full time. 12 months go into like, 17 games, right? It's kind of a fascinating concept. All the work that goes in from like the time the season ends to the time you get onto a field, it's It's the same with fighting. And that's the way he talks about it. Like, that's why people, coaches will say that in football. It's like, this is like not the celebration per se, but like, this is the fruits of your labor. The work is already over. This is kind of where you get to showcase it, right? And even more so in fighting, given the longer break, these guys fight once or twice a year. He said the fight's over before it happened. If I felt like I didn't properly prepare myself, if I felt like there was any opportunity, any chink in my arm, anything I did wrong, like I wouldn't feel this way going into the fight. That's why I could celebrate the camp ending because the fight ends there because the result has already happened. There's no way I can possibly lose. It's fascinating. And it's fascinating. Even if you don't like the sport, I was explaining this to someone today who doesn't know anything. We were more talking about like spirituality stuff. I was like, everyone should watch this guy. Everyone should hear this guy speak because it goes so far beyond fighting, dude.
And even in his post-fight interview, he even said, he's like, dude, I know I'm not invincible. Like, I know that he's like, I know what can happen in there, but he's like, I've already prepared. I've put in the work. So what is there? Like, not saying that he obviously isn't thinking about losing, but he's not dumb. Like, he knows what's at stake when he steps in there. He's just so gifted and has such a strong skill set that people obviously don't see everything that he's doing behind the scenes and training and everything, but he knows deep down, like he's just being honest. He knows what the fuck's most likely going to happen.
Yes,
like,
bro. Yes,
dude. You compare the runs. Like, I look back. Like, obviously, I said it before this fight. Like, this guy's my favorite fighter in the sport today. McGregor at one point obviously was my favorite fighter. Like, his 3-fight run right now is without a doubt the best 3-fight run in the history of the sport. Like,
yeah,
and it would probably be one of the best runs, even if he won all 3 by fucking decision.
Yeah,
but he's
squeaked out decisions.
But he's literally KO'd all 3 of them. Like, you're talking about, like, we don't even need to go into the resumes of these guys. Everyone knows all 3 of them. And again, my girlfriend and everyone in the living room, as Charles walks into the arena, I go, this guy's one of the best of all time. My girlfriend goes, oh, you say that about everybody. I'm like, a lot of people.
I'm like, yo, this is one of the biggest fights of all time, and these are 2 of the greatest fighters of all time. And everyone's like, holy fuck, dude.
It's hard explaining sometimes, like, that some of these guys, like, their resumes and things. But if you knew what was going on the other night, for him to move up a weight class, which people are like, oh, it's just 10 pounds. That is a huge difference in the fight game. A very huge difference. And then to win the way he won, a guy in Du Bronx who on Bronx's run, people are like, "Oh, is this guy the best lightweight of all time?"
Yeah.
The guy just went out and the guy literally collapsed the guy. It was one of the most vicious KOs I've seen.
Ever.
Like
Ever.
everywhere. When the girls in the house are literally like, "Oh my god," that's when you know it's a ferocious KO, dude.
Yeah. All right, let's get into this though. First of all, I hated right after the fight. The right hand lands, follow up shots, people go crazy. It shows Ilia, not really celebrating because he just does this business as usual and acts again like I just whatever. It shows the replay. They're going crazy. Within about 90 seconds, 2 minutes of the knockout, it showed. And again, sometimes when you watch it with people who aren't as big of fans, you kind of have to explain. You're like, oh, I swear this doesn't usually happen. Like, it isn't the WWE. It shows Justin Gaethje, and it gives him a little time to look into the camera. And then it shows Arman Sarukian, and he never really knows. I think he's looking at the wrong camera. And then it shows Paddy Pimblett. And his initial reaction, he was like, what did I just watch? And I think he's like rubbing off his finger. And then he's like, yeah. I despise that. Before we go in, what did you think of that moment? And then we'll talk about Paddy going into the cage. I thought that was ludicrous that they showed anyone, let alone all three, let alone three guys who don't deserve it each individually. What did you think of that moment? Because what did you think of that?
I'm completely with you on that. So the UFC's always kind of done a thing where let's obviously if it's a clear number one contender who's in the stands to watch this fight and the guy wins, I understand showing the camera, seeing his reaction, all that. But I completely agree. And it almost gets to a point where it's like so corny when some of these first off, why do people think that Paddy's the number one contender in this thing? I
don't get it.
Paddy's best win is Chandler, who I think would lose to fucking Brandon Royval at this point. No disrespect to Brandon Royval. I'm saying I'm disrespecting Chandler.
Yeah.
I don't understand why. And again, I get it. The fans love Paddy. It's Paddy the Baddy. I get it. But let's not take away from these moments also. Bro, let Ilia speak. Let all these things go. Paddy doesn't need to come into the ring at all. He's not even going to fight him next. I don't think the UFC is going to do that.
No chance.
I think Dana made that pretty clear, too, in the post-fight press conference. And it's the only time I see that being making sense is if it's John Jones versus DC, and it's clear that DC is fighting him next for the belt. Let's bring DC in.
100%, dude. 100%.
Yeah, other than that, we don't need those guys. Don't need to come in.
It makes no sense.
You get these weird interactions where they're speaking. It turns into WWE, and that's not the UFC, dude.
And they always suck. Brock Lesnar? Miocic's the piece of shit. DC, dude, I'm coming for you, buddy.
Dude, they're not they're not going to do, obviously, they're going to act like there's this serious beef, but they're not going to do anything to one another. And then it just gets awkward. Paddy is trying to act like he's fine, but in reality, the eyes don't lie and the expressions don't lie. When he first saw the knockout, it was so funny because he's like, holy shit. And then he's like, come on, dude.
I feel like the UFC in general, especially these last couple of years, has done a horrendous job promoting these fights and these fighters. I don't know. I feel like there isn't the same buzz. Even for a guy like Ilia, they should be pushing this guy so hard. And people freak out when they post the fight. They posted the fight on YouTube and Instagram after the fight, and they're like, holy fuck, they're trying to push him. It's that should be the least thing they do. This guy should be on every poster, on everything. They should be pushing him so hard. When there are these big type of fights, I do think they should be pushing it. But these are not big fights at all. And let me ask you something, because I think of myself as this crazy UFC fan. I watch everything. I'm always interested. I follow everything on social media. Is Paddy Pimblett this big star? I get he has a big following and whatnot, but I don't see it at all. And I was so impressed with his performance against Chandler. I think he's been getting better and better. People are saying this is this mega super duper fight. Am I missing something? He has one
I think
ranked win. Bobby Green
no,
was
I agree with
technically
you in
ranked.
that sense. I just think that a lot of like casuals tend to know Paddy because he's the guy with the
Yeah.
blonde, the whatever haircut style it's called, and then like so like when you go to the bar, the first guy that usually like that doesn't know really the UFC, he'll be like, "Oh, Paddy the Batty" or something like that. Like
Patty the
so they've
Batty's a
done it.
stud.
They've done a
Yeah.
good job of that. Like there was somebody like at my house this weekend watching the fights who coming to my house didn't know who Ilia was, but knew who Paddy was. Like that's I get where some people
Is
uh
this to decide who fights Patty next? These two bums? They're like, what are you talking about?
dude, let's get into that. Who do you
Okay,
think should be
beautiful.
next? Who do you think should be next for Ilia, and who do you think will be next for Ilia?
Who should it be? The only fight I want to see is Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev. Make no mistake about it. And I think we're at a point after these last three. After Max. It was like, wow, this is probably the best back-to-back wins in UFC history. Two top 15 fighters of all time. The two best in your division back to back. Again, people were saying it's like if Pereira knocked out John Jones and DC back to back. The two best in all time in that division. And then to go do what he did, go to move up and do that to Oliveira. It's just unheard of, right? We're getting into kind of dangerous territory because I don't care how this sounds. None of those three deserve to fight him right now. After what he's just done, I say I don't really know what to do. And that's why I'm excited to figure it out with you right now because again, we've said he doesn't seem like a guy who's going to fight every 5-6 months. He also doesn't seem like a guy who's going to fight for much longer. And that seems to
Yeah.
be a narrative that's building that you've said forever. And like, I don't know, maybe it's going to happen. And he's also definitely mention McGregor again. He's definitely going to go the McGregor path and like end up fighting Canelo or someone in boxing because
100%.
he probably could. I don't know what you do. Have you seen that apparently Gaethje is fighting Paddy at
Yeah.
UFC, what is it, 319?
Yeah, in
It'll be
Chicago,
the
which
co-main.
which I think is what they should do.
Yeah.
I think Armin just for what happened with him pulling out the day before the fight, he's obviously not getting the fight. Also
Yes.
because besides Islam, I do think Armin's the toughest test for Ilya in the division right now.
100%. Yeah.
And I think the UFC, if I'm a business like they are, I'm not going to risk this juice. Not that I don't think Ilya can beat him, but I'm not going to risk this fight at this time. The hype, the momentum, I'm not going to do it. My honest opinion, like you said, I agree with you that Islam should be the next fight. Like everybody
Yeah.
wants to see that, but I just see if Islam loses, I think he goes back down to 55. We see him versus Ilya, I would assume, right?
With his tail tucked between his legs, he returns to the division he once ran for years. Like, I don't know.
If he
That's
loses,
why
though,
the fact that we didn't see the fact that fight wasn't on Saturday
I
is
know.
wild to me, man. And I was saying it the whole time. And people, you know what? I forgot about this. All the comments were Ilya has no fights at lightweight. He doesn't deserve it. What say you? Like, what do you think now? You don't think he deserves it? He
Dude,
could fight for the 85 strap tomorrow morning if he could do whatever he
I
wants.
know.
What do you
And
mean? He doesn't deserve it?
did you hear though that he said that Hunter and Dana came to his or at least Hunter or whoever came back to his locker room after the fight on Saturday and told him like just promise us that you're not going to go up to welterweight and fight for the belt. Like we want you to. That tells me that they kind of like maybe they don't want them to fight because they want two mega stars right now.
But I just don't think Islam's going to be around for much longer. He's like 33 or 34.
I don't think Ilya is going to be. I think Ilya's got three.
Make the fight.
Ilya's got
greatest
three
fight
fights
ever.
left. I say 3 or 4 fights tops left in his career. If I'm the UFC right now, I let Islam fight JDM because Ilya ain't fighting anywhere near around there anyway. Ilya's going to fight like January-ish or whatever, December, January, February. I let that fight play out. I don't know if Islam's going to win that fight, to be honest with you, but it's going to be a good fight. Whatever, whoever wins, Islam wins. Hey, Islam, what are you thinking here? Do you want to go back and go you versus Ilya, or are you going to stay at 170, continue to defend your belt? I think Islam will probably say he's going to stay at 170. And if I'm the UFC, I know you're gonna tell me I'm crazy. If I'm the UFC right now, I
I
make
don't even know.
McGregor versus Topuria for the belt. I don't care. I make McGregor versus Ilia. Conor's got 2 fights left on the contract. He fights Ilia. He gets absolutely sparked, and then he he can sail off into the sunset with like a Diaz fight to end his career. That's what I do if I'm the UFC. I make Ilia Topuria versus McGregor if Islam's going to stay at 70. If McGregor, I don't know, obviously McGregor, he's doing shadow boxing on the beaches of Abu Dhabi, wherever the fuck he's at. But if that doesn't happen, you obviously go with the winner of Gaethje Paddy. But I think they're going to be fucked because you want my honest opinion. I think
What are
Justin
you
Gaethje.
talking about, dude?
I'm telling you what I would do if I was the UFC. I think they tried. Dude,
What?
Ilya said it. Listen, Ilya said it last year. They were about to make McGregor versus Ilya for Ilya's debut at lightweight last year. Like, I'm telling you, why would you not? It'll be the biggest pay-per-view. It'll be a top 3 pay-per-view of all time. It'll do ridiculous numbers.
Dude,
like, why not?
you think Conor's bro? We know who this guy is, right? He's a close personal friend of the program.
Why
You think
wouldn't
he's
they?
gonna fight again? I don't. Let's just move. He's not fighting. What do you mean?
Okay, I'm just saying, why not try and make it? Why not try and
Okay,
make
so
it
they
happen?
call and he. I'm not gonna do him a great.
If they called Conor and said, "Yo, we'll give you a shot at the title," like, you don't think Conor's gonna take the chance? The fuck else is he gonna do?
I don't know. I don't. Have you seen the guy, bro? The guy has a new lawsuit every day. He looks like he's drugged out of his mind. Like,
I'm just saying, why
it.
not? I'm just saying, why not? From a business standpoint, why not?
The only I honestly, okay, it's not going to happen. I don't even think they're going to offer to him. And McGregor, I don't. Dana said recently he's probably not fighting again. I don't think there's. I think there's like a 1% chance of that happening. But I think that's why it seems like we need a true contender to emerge. So like if McGregor had fought last year, then I'd be like, yeah, actually that fight makes a lot of sense because like we need Ilia. Like I think just throwing him in there, I actually kind of like the Armand fight because I think this guy is that good. I want to see, like, I get what you're saying about like not protecting him, but like you don't want to even put a chance out there that he could lose. I completely understand that. Me as a fan, I want to see how good he is. I want to see
he's
him
got
fight
a chance
Armand.
of losing to all these guys. All the guys, he has a chance because I'm not saying he's going to lose. I'm saying he has a chance to lose to all those guys. Paddy's
The highest likelihood is Armand. I think Armand's the best
100%.
out of the 3. That's more what I mean. So that's what I want to see.
I think Justin Gaethje will beat Paddy Pimblett. To be honest with you, I think he'll beat Paddy. I do.
I don't know. I think Paddy is still at a point in his career where he's been getting so much. Like the guy who fought Gaethje or the guy who fought Chandler was a completely different guy than the guy who fought. I don't know who else. I mean, Bobby Green, he looked pretty good in the Tony fight. I guess he looked okay. Like the guy who fought Jared Gordon, he was a way different guy, and it was 2 years removed. So he's still getting better, even though he's in his he's like 31 maybe. So I'm not. I think Paddy is legit, but I don't know. That's a good fight, but I mean, I feel like Justin Gaethje getting a title shot is bizarre. Like especially going up against Ilia, like, and that's again. You hear what Ilia says when they ask him? They said because he's like, I want to fight Paddy, and then they're like, oh, what about Gaethje? And he kind of again he chuckles, but not in a mean way. He's like, you guys must not like Justin Gaethje.